Okay, please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Any questions, comments on the agenda? If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Bob, Mary Lee?
I see Bob on there.
You're muted, Mary Lee.
So, man, Bob isn't back yet.
Bob isn't back yet? Okay. All righty. Motion.
Okay, aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Moving on to approval of the minutes, 5/22/23. Is there a motion?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes of May 22nd, 2023 as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second. Corrections, additions? Joe?
On page 2, the second paragraph from the bottom, fourth line, we use the initialism UDR, and I think people who weren't at the meeting probably don't know what that is, so I think that should be spelled out. And then on page 3, just below the middle of the page, the second purchase order for approval, there's a space in Mr. Combs' name between the COMB and the S. Other than that, they look great.
Is that it, Joe?
Yes, it is.
Dick?
I'm good.
You're good? Mary Lee?
Yes, on page 2, down, you're talking about where Jim Thomas addressed the board. It says profile and the felt the late Bonzine should be moved instead of he felt. And other than that, I agree with the ones Joe gave you.
Should it be they felt, first community profile, and they felt, they being the planning commission? Or is it he, or it should be he? As a member of the planning commission. So it'd be he then, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Got it, Mike?
Yep.
Anything else, Mary Lee?
No, that's all.
All set? Everyone else is all set?
Yes.
If so, all those in favor of approving the minutes with the corrections indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Citizens' comments or concerns, issues not on the agenda. Yes, Tom?
Tom Kern, 193 Crystal Haven West.
Tom, could you come up here? Just so we can make sure we get it on the recording, because the speaker's right above you there. Thank you.
Tom Kern, 193 Crystal Haven West. We've had a cottage there since the 30s, so our deed and the right-of-way and everything for that cottage predates the commission lands that then surrounded it and now make up that area. There was a small drainage ditch that ran in the spring, sometimes in the fall, which took water from the Kelly property, which is next door. Their property goes from the lake all the way to Route 30. In the 1940s, late 40s, my great-uncle tried to get the town to put that water under the ground, like mainly because he had cocktails at the Kellys every afternoon, and they had a little bridge, so you can see what that little gully looked like historically. The town never wanted to do it. There was a lot less development back there at the time. Fast forward, there was a lot of development there. When the sewer went in, the town then became interested in improving that thing, because it's a very small, you can see it's not a very big gully. So the town proposed, while they were doing the sewer, an agreement was done with everyone to put in the sewers then, that then they would take care of it, because by that time, things were developing there, and then the town did need something to do with water, because they were creating a lot more water with the roads. They put, I don't know who put it in. It doesn't seem, I had letters going back and forth from the town for a proposed route, which is a little bit different than what it is now. And it crossed onto the Kelly's property and exited. I think because my great uncle had a seawall and the Kellys didn't. So it was gonna go down there and then turn and then go in there. So they needed easements from the Kellys and from us. That process started, and for some reason, I think because of costs, they didn't want to go that way, because I think they were going to lose a tree. They might have had to cut into the ledge, I don't know. That never happened, and then somebody might have been the town, my great uncle might have just done it himself, because the town was going to make him pay for at least half of it anyway. It was put in and cut through the seawall. It still didn't run any at all in the summer, a little bit in the spring, a little bit in the fall. Then the town put in the snowplow turnaround. When that first happened in 2011, when the survey marks were marked there, I inquired with Charles, Jason, their manager at the time, what the town was doing. He said, in no way that you're building this turnaround, you're just building this little cul-de-sac thing so that snowplow could turn around. Then the next day I went there again, and the road was halfway built, and I blew my stack at Charles. At that time, the town promised that it wouldn't be a roadway, it would just be a snowplow turnaround, and since then it's been closed in the summer. All this time I've been complaining because there's so much water coming through the pipe now. In the summertime, with a big rainstorm, it's dangerous on our waterfront. And it's the waterfront, we have 50 plus people there some days, and we have family reunion, 12, 13 of which are small children. Now with the paving, the size of that snowplow turnaround has increased, and there's now an industrial ditch, stone lined, and Heath can probably describe exactly what it is, but it's about 6-8 feet wide, big pieces of stone, swelled, going that whole length of that thing. So you're asking to put all that water that's going to come down that ditch, plus you've ditched it along the Turner property, so everybody is trying to clear the swamp area behind the Moores camp is coming through there. And you have no right to do any of it. So now I don't know what's happening with the sewer. And every time I brought this to a town manager's attention, it just keeps going forward. Even after I spoke to Mike and everyone a couple weeks ago, you're still going straight ahead doing what you're doing. So at this point, I contracted someone that can put a plug into the line. We just pull it up from the waterfront. It's going to be pulled up to where it meets the road, and it's going to be inflated. And, I don't know what's going to happen after that.
Okay, Mike, is that it? Tom?
It's it, and now you're going to pave over this rotten pipe too, which just seems a little absurd to me. But it's the
I don't even
same.
know, that's a lot to unpack, Tom, so I'm gonna try to do my best
I know,
to.
but it's the pipe is the same pipe that's in the water that's broken in at least one spot. Is the same exact material and bend that goes under the road. So now we're spending all this money to pave the road there, on top of a pipe that we've all known for 10, 15 years is not a decent, it's some ABS plastic, it's brittle, You know, it's not,
I
it's
haven't
not
done
up
that
to any kind of
analysis.
standard, you know.
I'm not gonna say I agree with the condition of the pipe, because I haven't really dug into that. But the problem that exists there, this is to the select board, is climate, whatever's happening with our climate, it's affecting that area too. Water comes all the way down from Route 30. That's not the town's, we didn't do that, but Mother Nature has created this flow, and that ditch that was put in there, that stone line ditch, was to help slow and clean the water out that was going through Tom's property into the lake. But the majority of the water that's coming down through there, Tom, and we had a hydrology engineer up there who's working out maybe a solution to this, is the one that's on the west side of the road that parallels Crystal Haven West. There's a lot of water coming down through there.
Right.
So if you plug that up, that water makes it down through there all the time.
It doesn't, no, because before you built the road and the ditch, all that water was slowly filtered down a wooded hillside. That was all woods.
But take a look at what that is now. It's all swamp in there. And that water, the same with the road.
Yeah, but it never reached our property until you dug all these ditches. And then when you dug the ditches from the town lands and what's on town right away, everybody else dug ditches on their properties to drain all that stuff through our property.
So that must have been years. So
No, this has all been since 2011. This
Yeah, no, I'm
has
saying-
nothing to do with global warming.
I'm talking about what we did over the past couple weeks. We didn't exacerbate that at all.
I know, but you created the problem when you built the road originally.
I know that's way.
I know, but it's...
I didn't create anything. So
No, I mean, listen, you all the town, you all inherit the past town's faults or whatever. I mean, you're the town. So, you know, there are problems that you don't just get to start the town when you start working for the town. You know, the roads are all here, everything's all here. So you have to deal with what people have agreed to do before.
Okay, Mike, are you going to continue to?
yeah,
try-
we had hydrology guy. It was Evan Fitzgerald. Looked at it with Hillary Solomon. They're supposed to write a proposal to us to help figure out a way to dissipate or how reduce the amount of stormwater that makes it to that ditch. But the underlying issue is there's a pipe that goes underneath Tom's property. It discharges into the lake, and it sounds like you're concerned about that and you don't really want it there. So if that's the case, if you were to plug that up, all that stormwater is going to build up on that east side of East Crystal Haven West, and where does it go?
I fully admit, I told you it's gonna be a giant mess. I told you that 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
It would have happened either way, Tom.
That's the only culvert that crosses.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Thank
not
you,
a town
Tom.
pu- It's not a town pipe.
Thank you for your comments. Mike will keep working on it along with Dave. Heath, you had a comment?
I was gonna say, just so you guys are aware, that's the only culvert that crosses Crystal Haven West to
Road.
drain water to the lake.
Okay, all right. Anything else on this?
No, I mean, we'll continue to try to find the hydrology part of it, but it doesn't change the fact that if Tom doesn't want, if we have no easement through his property and he wants to remove that pipe, we're in negotiations with Tom because we're going to discharge this water. It's going to keep coming.
Sure. Okay, anything else on this matter? If not, anyone else who wishes to address the board not on the agenda? Mary McIntyre.
Mary McIntyre, I'm before you tonight as the chairperson of the CIDREC. We had, I'm going to submit a letter to you that we have said, I will not read you the whole thing. It's from our board, and we're recommending that the town hire an economic development professional. This position could potentially be combined with other responsibilities to create a full-time position. It is our opinion that volunteer committees do not have time and resources to adequately address issues related to economic development. A staff member could work closely with employees of the Chamber and Economic Development of the Rutland Region and/or the Rutland Regional Planning Commission to move Castleton forward. Additionally, a town economic development director could reach out to our existing businesses and be available to answer questions from existing or potentially new businesses during traditional work hours. An advantage over current CIDREC members who are predominantly employed full-time. Furthermore, the town economic director would be more readily available to work with the town manager. It is our vision that the economic director would work closely with appointed CIDREC members, very similarly to the manner our Parks and Recreation Director works with our appointed Recreation Commission members. So, further, we realize that this would be a newly created position that would need to be placed in the town's budget, but believe our recommendation for the next budgeted year would be a worthwhile endeavor to improve our town's economic potential.
Okay,
As you know, we're getting to the end of a fiscal year, so we thought this was a good time to bring this up.
any questions for Mary? If not, thank you very much, Mary.
I'll
Want to submit
copy
that?
these.
Yeah.
And is there, you said you're not seeking reappointment, right? Is that, I got your email, thank you for sending it to me. And I believe that there's other members of the CDREC that are not seeking reappointment as well.
Okay, anyone else who wishes to address the board? Not on the agenda. If not, we'll move on to recreation update. Bo, Elliott, Ramos. Are you there, Bo?
I am, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Thanks for the notes on the revisions for this month's report here. So I'll dive in a little bit different from last month. But starting off with the activities, I'm going to share how many of these activities or events we had per month, and then to the best of my ability, how many folks were logged for those events. Everything that's been signed up or registered for online has pretty accurate head count. Things that are a little bit harder to track are, for example, indoor walking. I'm pretty certain that my numbers are right, but for example, I thought, and this is a point for improvement for next month, I'm able to count heads at the end of the day for who did what after they signed into the rec center, but I need to put a column for like what they were here for. Otherwise, I don't necessarily know, was that person, sometimes I can't remember at the end of the month if they were there were they just meeting with me? Did they just stop by to talk to me about something? Or were they an indoor walker? So anyway, the indoor walking, let's start with indoor walking. In May, we had 8 of those events, so similar to last month, 2 per week. The time of these events did change, and there was a bit of a delay in people kind of catching that wave, and I think the time didn't work as well for people. So we had about 24 participants throughout those 8 sessions, which is much lower than last month, but more on program attendance soon. Moving on, if you have the worksheet in front of you there too, not worksheet, but report, you'll notice that we paused adult pickup basketball. Myself personally, I felt like it was one of those, as we're experimenting with programs getting off the ground, it was one that I felt like I couldn't really get my arms around or my hands around. So just to make messy things not get messier, I'm just pausing it for now. And adult pickup pickleball has been good as well. We had 2 started and 2 ended. When I say 2, I mean 6-week sessions that recur at a certain day and time that particular week. So historically, since we started pickleball this year to actually this week, we've been doing 6-week rotating sessions. But by the time we had about 4, honestly even 3 sessions going simultaneously on different schedules, it was confusing the participants, it was confusing me, and so for a number of reasons, I just decided that it was gonna get too much of a headache for everyone to continue that way, and I needed to start having a more regular schedule that I could predict as well for my own planning purposes. So I started putting I actually kind of took the month to figure out how to place everything on a weekly map, or that's how it feels in my head, but a weekly calendar, so that now the community member knows that 1 week kind of looks like any other this summer. And maybe even more stuff happening that particular week, but at a very bottom line, you have a certain set of programs. So now we're stopping the 6-week cycles, and we're doing just weekly regular hours. So now they're going to be starting this week, which I'll report on next month. They're going to be 4 regular pick-up pickleball sessions and 1 volunteer-powered session over the weekend that is always going to be just based on what the volunteers are able and comfortable contributing. Shout out to Mary, because I know that you're there. Thanks for the help there. So just quick stats: 2 started, 2 ended of the 6-week sessions, 21 participants in the first 2, 24 in the second 2, moving right along. We also had our second month of adult yoga, 4 of those throughout the month, once a week, and there were 17 participants there. And then finally, we experimented with the sewing social, and we did have it once a week as well. You'll notice that we didn't have any participants really, but there was chatter, there was a slight buzz about it as far as people reaching out to me with questions or inquiries about it. I think we just didn't have the right time of year or the right time of day, but I'm gonna try to harness some of the interest that we had around that and work it onto something that's gonna be on our weekly calendar. Try to go a little bit faster. Okay, youth rec. So we have softball continuing, 9 of those events being either practices or games. We've got 18 players and 2 coaches. That is ongoing, but it's not going to be reflected in any of the numbers of revenue this month because the payout already came through last month. Youth Open Gym is paused. Toddler story time in Open Gym. Well, I guess that we didn't do the story time in Open Gym, but we did spring paint, which had 9 participants come to that. Community support events. There have been just like generally since starting a whole ton of energy in the community about things that we want to start putting into action and start offering for the community. But as all of you know, it's all going to take a group effort. So to try to get folks recognizing that, get our heads together, get our players identified, I started holding some of these community organizing meetings. And we use that as kind of a launching point to figure out which projects would or would not be feasible this summer. Yep. All right, and that had a total of, there were 3 of them with a total of 10 attendees. Revenue report. Okay, so the month of May, really the only revenue reported here is the 2 pickleball sessions that ended because their payouts were sent to us. So, you know, more revenue is being generated actively, but that's reflecting the payouts that hit our mailbox, you know? So just under $500 there. And on to expenditures. So for the month of May, just going across the line there, pickleball is going to be a pretty great sport to continue on long term because it's not really costly at all now that we've got the nets and we already have the paddles. So the only thing that we really need to replace every now and then are balls because we got some wicked good players. I played today for a little bit and there was a time that I shielded myself from a ball. They hit hard, they cracked. You got to look at the reviews because we got some good players. You got to get the balls that are like really durable. Anyway, so we got some more of those. We got some cold compresses for the softball kids. And then over to the fields, like I said, we got softball and baseball going. So we got some porta potties out on the fields. We got a pop-up tent for shade and the anchors to hold down that tent as well. For a total of this month, $1,103 in expenditures. Yeah. All right, now the monthly meetings. They're pretty similar to last month. as far as, I mean, those are the meetings that I'm pretty much gonna have on my calendar month in and month out. Bridge initiative, I can't remember actually. I was trying to look back on my emails. Did I already go to the last one or did I miss the last one? Now I can't remember, but I know that I didn't go to a bridge initiative meeting in May. So one down. Some other meetings that I did have and have been pretty critical and feeling like, okay, we got some muscle behind it all, are really just with the folks who show up every day, or not necessarily the same people every day, but different people who show up and bring me what they see as their next steps or ways to help. So that's been very, very uplifting for me. And I also am given the chance to see like the non-monetary impacts that some of this has been having. And I can feel it in myself too. Like I dig into this job the more people I meet, because I'm gonna get sappy. Anyway, where was I? Okay, right, so notes and other items here. We're kicking off summer registrations, got quite a few things happening this summer. As far as camps go, we've got, never mind. We got swim camp, or swim lessons, sailing camp, tennis camp for kids and adults, as well as adventure camp, which is going to be the biggest one going throughout the whole summer. So those registrations are coming in. They are kind of going into the next note there. They are all on paper right now, but meeting again with some folks at town office to keep working on HeyGov to get it up and running as soon as we can. As soon as we can do that, that's going to be a lot. It's going to be really nice, really, really nice. And then I kind of touched on this, but in May, I was doing a lot of kind of information sorting about placing things onto calendars for a little bit more predictability for everyone. And we received our first gym reservation request, kicking into gear the need to have all of those systems kind of figured out, which we're doing now. And my happiest little announcement is that we have our first official volunteer, which is not to say that there haven't been other people volunteering, like to get pickleball going, to, help me with a bulletin board or this or that. But it is someone who is coming in on a regular schedule every week for 3 hours. And I'm gonna make him a t-shirt. So I want my own money, y'all. Don't worry about that hitting the budget. I'm just gonna make him a little volunteer t-shirt. And then finally, just looking ahead, that's pretty much a wrap on May, but looking ahead on the regular schedule now, we're gonna have open studios, which is like a mini version of, if you've maybe heard of a maker space. This is like the very, very mini version of that, like the version that's within reach right now without costing anything. And so I'm gonna have that be free, but you can donate supplies. That way it gets people in, but we keep our stock up, our supplies up. And I have pickleball sessions and adding these things to the mix every week so that we can keep the community coming in for meetings, coming in to be part of the team, coming in to help.
Okay, questions for Bo? Joe?
This is not so much a question for you, Bo, but I guess maybe for our town manager. I know we spent a fair bit of money purchasing HeyGov. Are we getting adequate support from the company in terms of getting ourselves organized to use that program?
I'd have to look, before I left, I know they were working on it, and I've been gone for 2 weeks, so I'm not sure what's happened in the last 2 weeks, but they were getting technical assistance with HeyGov before I left. So I'll follow up to make sure that they're still getting it. I'm not really sure now why their snafus are happening.
Okay.
And I don't know what the snafus are.
Okay.
So I will look into it.
Anything else, Joe?
Well, just,
Sure.
Bo, do you perceive that you've gotten all the technical support you need from the company?
Yeah, I think that if I were to look at that onboarding process, honestly, is it great? No, but from my own experience with like software onboarding and such, rarely is. Especially when you're working with many people, like they're onboarding one town but multiple departments. I kind of think it's it's not anyone's fault, really. Not that anyone's asking for whose fault it is, but it is a little gnarly, but not in a way that I think is unexpected for this kind of stuff. I do appreciate, though, Karen and Christine helping me push forward on this, and we even have a meeting tomorrow to just make sure that we're all on the same page moving forward with that. Thomas, though, who's our contact there, and you know, I'm just speaking from my own observation. I think that he's done an all right job helping us out.
Okay, anything else for Bo?
Thank you.
Dick? No? Mary Lee?
No, fine.
Bob, are you back?
I'm all set.
All set. I have one question. Bo, for the individuals who are using the facilities, Castleton Recreation Department, of various programs, are they all residents of Castleton and/or Hubbardton?
No.
Did you say yes?
No, I said, sorry, no, they're yes, and I would say yes, and people from outside Hubbardton and Castleton.
Does that mean if they're not residents of Castleton and Hubbardton, that the Castleton and Hubbardton taxpayers are subsidizing them?
It means that they're getting access to recreation for the same cost as those residents.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Okay, if not, we'll move on. Police cruiser purchase update. Chief, you've been very patient.
That's good, it's awesome. Good job, Bo. Did everybody look at their packets and read those 2-page letter?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm gonna
I
come.
read it.
Thank you, Mary Lee. Bob, did you get yours at all?
I did not. I left last Tuesday. I haven't seen
Okay.
the packet.
So I know that since the last time we met, we went over the cost of the different cruisers based on our need because of the maintenance and the high mileage on 2 of the cruisers that we have left. So Justin did some homework on it, and we found a place out of Massachusetts that deals in total fleet, so we can get everything done there instead of piecemealing it out. And because of the state fleet person last year didn't do a very good job, and the price isn't any different. So in the meantime, Joe sent out a Vermont Leagues and Cities and Towns article. We were tasked to, and I actually tasked Justin to get some information, but by reading it, I could tell that we did meet the exemptions on that piece based on the VLTC legislature. So if you read that, we did talk with Susan, one of the attorneys, and I've talked to her before for other things, but she happened to return the phone call. So there's nothing illegal we're doing if we lease to purchase, is what we're looking to do, because the budget itself has been voted already. So that's what they consider approval. So, in relation to that first part, does anybody have questions on the first part in the explanation of VLTC and that particular article, the legislature? Okay, so I tasked Justin. In the meantime, too, we had talked with Melanie and Nancy in reference to the bank that they use. For whatever reason, the lady said, well, you need voter approval, but I don't think she understood what that really meant personally, because you don't need that. So, talking with the company that they use down there, and this company's used quite wide throughout southern Vermont and other states. They're fully aware of that type of lease to purchase. With that statement that the appropriation clause must contain the non-appropriation clause. And that's in reference to is if somebody votes our budget down and we are doing this process, then it leaves the town liable. That's what that means. But because they've already voted the budget in for this following year, that's fine. Everybody understand that? That's where that non-appropriation piece comes in.
Joe?
Joe?
I assume this is going to be a multi-year program?
Yeah, so did you keep those two pricings that I had on both vehicles, on the Tahoe and then the other one? That I gave out last meeting?
I think it's in the minutes.
So, I think it was around 50, I got them right here, actually. The reason with the Tahoe was because of the Fords and what we've spent on them, and they're only building them once a year. $59,280.25. With the at least the one company that we had, or I'm sorry, the leasing company that deals with that particular, called Republic. So there's two ways they do it, but I have three ways. There's one way that I want to do it, is pay, once you order, if the board agrees tonight to order the vehicle, we don't have to put any money down until about 2 months prior to the delivery. And that's going to be 4 to 5 months later at this point, even if we ordered it tonight or tomorrow. So with their amount, they're saying $60,000. Either I pay $30,000, which I plan to do after July 1st, based on what I'll have for funds in my capital reserve, and hopefully some encumbrance, and the sale of the 2017 to the constable. And you remember that little sheet I gave you, what that was? Anybody remember that?
Was it a quiz?
Mike, were you here?
What's that?
I don't remember it either. Where the funds that I'll have after July 1st is about $52,550. Let's say I don't have $10,000 in encumber. Let's say I have $5,000. So they take out $5,000, but I'm guessing I'll have $10,000, maybe more. 24.5 after July 1st. The sale of the cruiser, $7,000 come from the constable budget because he has enough money to encumber at this point. And then I have right now my capital reserve as of right now about $11,050, which includes $9,000 plus the $2,000 of the asset forfeiture money that I haven't spent all yet. That's been carrying over for the last 4 years. So, two ways I'm asking. One, that we do, if we find someone else that's less than 6.99%, I know this seems high, but the interest rates are going to keep going up, then we try to go with that. If it doesn't, then I would rather pay $30,000 after July, 2 months from the vehicle getting here, than the $30,000 next year after July, so 2024. And then that'll be paid off, and then we did like with the 15, they pay $1, we pay $1, and we get the car.
Where will the money go from the sale of the car that the constable presently has?
He's buying it from us. It'd go to this department, my department.
Okay.
Plus, which we haven't talked about, but I know we've got to sell that other Taurus, but that's only gonna be worth probably,
Any idea what the value is of the present constable's car?
probably like $3,000 maybe.
Okay.
Or we borrow $60,000 from the town. We got no interest. We pay $30 after July, then $30 after next year.
You borrow 30, so we'll be the bank.
That's right, with no interest.
We'll still be the bank.
No interest.
Where
though. But I will pay you back,
where are we
though.
gonna get the 50,000 to loan you?
Huh?
Where are we gonna get the 50,000
Oh,
to loan
I'm
it
sure
to
the
you?
town has some
Pardon?
money in there. I'm sure the town has some money somewhere.
Mike,
I'm throwing it
What are you
out.
doing?
I'm just throwing it out. So that's kind of where,
What's your recommendation?
my recommendation?
Yeah.
If the town had the money with no interest, I'd go that route. If not, then I go with this company if we don't find something else, and I pay $30,000 after July, and then another $30,000 after next July, and then pay it off and buy it back for $1 or something, whatever the actual amount. It's usually $1. It's something crazy.
Mr. Town Manager?
Actually, what I think is the police chief's been hitting some mushrooms or something. No. But one of the things I recommend is that we look at the police budgets at the end of the year and ask the select board to encumber money, any money that he'd have left over in his budget, the surplus, toward that vehicle. That will reduce the liability overall anyway. It's already money that's been appropriated by the voters.
Okay.
And then look at using our own funds to fund it and not have to pay interest. I talked to Nancy about it. It's just, what I need to come back to the select board is the kind of the legal process that will happen.
Any other questions? Bob? Mary Lee?
No, I'm fine.
Bob?
I like what you said towards the end, and I agree with Mike. We should go that route.
Okay. Based on that, is any other questions for Dick or Joe?
Not at
No.
this point.
No.
We need to find out what the mechanics are of doing that, and then we'll go forward and make a decision.
It sounds attractive, but we need to find out what the details are.
So are you suggesting holding it over to the next meeting, Dick, or what?
I'm requesting that you authorize the department to order it. And then we'll figure the finances. Either way, if I lease it, we'll go with a lease. If not, we'll go with the town manager's way.
Okay, so is there a motion to authorize the chief to order the vehicle, subject to financial solutions?
Type of payment.
Is the town
They like
manager
that one,
comfortable
Peter.
with that?
What I'm not comfortable about is the legal aspect of it, because if you order the vehicle, we're committing to buying it at that point.
Yes.
And then we've got to, if the legal process to be able to, I want to make sure the process of using internal funds to pay for it, which the town has done in the past. We've borrowed from ourselves, from the reserve funds. We got like $1.4 million in there. That the legal ramification, or the legal process to do that.
So what are you suggesting?
Pete doesn't want to hear what I had to suggest, but.
Yes, we do. Go ahead.
Well, I just I'm not clear of the methodology, and I've been gone for 2 weeks, so I didn't have a chance to follow up on this before this meeting. So I don't really know, I guess what I'm saying is I don't really know the legal way of doing it. And I'd like to make sure that we're not committing money that he doesn't have.
So let me ask Pete a question, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, sure.
If we wait until the 26th of June to authorize you to order that car, what are the ramifications of that? Will that be a big problem?
Well, the biggest problem for us is this company that has all these fleet of cars. That's when everybody orders their vehicles at the end of June. And we don't know if there's gonna be enough there.
Well, the 26th is not the end of June. We've got 4 more
That's
days.
pretty close.
Yeah.
So listen, let me ask you something, Mike.
I got a question first.
Yes, sir.
The delta between your 11,000 you have in there now, plus the 24.5 that goes in there on the first, so it's
And there's
35
7,000 for the cruiser from Constable,
constables.
plus any encumbrance. I said
42.
10,000, so that's 52,000.
So if the way out of this is, I'm pretty confident that he'll have that in a budget surplus, looking at his budget as it sits right now, knowing that we still have the reimbursements coming from the governor's highway safety stuff. So I would feel comfortable saying that if he used budget surplus, the money from the constable's car, what he's got in his budget right now, the 11,000 and something, and the 24.5, then I would feel comfortable with that.
Would someone care to make a motion based on what the manager will feel comfortable with?
I make a motion, we allow the police chief to order the vehicle.
Is there a second?
Do we need a number in there, Bob?
Is it 59,000? I didn't write it down.
What's your number, the total?
59 something, right?
Yeah, it was 59, hold on. 59,288.
So 59,288
25 cents.
and 25 cents.
59,288, 25 cents.
Second.
And a second. Discussion.
I'll second it.
And a second. Discussion. Guess we've had enough.
Who made the motion? Was it Bob?
Bob did.
Bob did.
I did.
Thank you.
Mary Lee, second. Doesn't seem there's any further discussion. Are you comfortable with that, Mike? You are, okay. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, Chief, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Moving on. Corn drop policy, review and accepted update. I believe we have a couple other updates for corrections.
Those are in your packet there, Jim? Was that the ones?
Yeah, I got the original, yeah.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve the revised Town of Castleton policy on award and operation of coin drops.
This version of that?
The revision date is 6/12/23.
Do you have multiple copies of that, Jim? Is there multiple copies in the packet?
I thought you gave those out.
Okay, did they ever slide around?
Everybody got the last one that was
No.
updated?
Well, I found problems with the one that was in my packet.
I know, that's what I
and
meant.
dropped
Charlie.
off some suggested changes to Karen today. I haven't seen the final version.
I thought I gave those to you, Jim, but maybe I didn't. Maybe I have them right here. Well, look at that. Here they are, Joe.
Thank you, thank you.
Aren't you glad to be back, Mike? No, I thought you would.
Here, I'm sliding one to Mary Lee and Bob. Here you go.
I've got one.
Yeah, I think Karen emailed them.
Is there a lot of changes, or can you go over them in a matter of seconds?
I'd be happy to mention the things that I suggested we change.
Sure.
If I can find them all. I think the most substantive piece was related to the question of whether it is the Recreation Department or the Recreation Commission that is spoken of as having the right to do a coin drop. I think I may have proposed an amendment last meeting that said Recreation Department, and I believe one or more members of the Select Board agreed that should be the Recreation Commission.
Correct, yeah.
So in, I think, two locations, especially in paragraph 3B, that was modified. In paragraph 3A, we had said that the permission to have a coin drop would be granted as a result of a lottery. But that did not account for the fact that we had already assured the right to a coin drop to the fire department and the Recreation Commission. So that, I suggested we add that phrase to the second sentence in 3A, except for the provisions stipulated in 3B. And then there were just a couple of typos later in the document that were really not very substantial.
Okay.
Now, is this the latest revision that we have here?
Yes.
It is?
Yep.
You sure? Now, the one that was in the blue packet for signature is the latest?
I can check real quick. Yes.
I've
Okay,
got the
we're all
latest.
right then,
Karen
okay.
sent it to me by email.
Okay.
And I
That's the
believe
one that
the
the
one that you're,
department's been changed to commission and.
Yeah.
the most
yeah, well, that's
updated one
okay.
has the revision, the revised date at the bottom right, not at the top right.
Yep.
6/12?
Correct.
Flip
Okay.
back to the front page for a second.
Yeah, it says commission. Yeah, I know that. yeah.
Yep, that's.
Anything else?
I'd like to point out something picayune.
Okay, well,
In paragraph 4C, the very last line, it says children under 10 years of age shall not be allowed to be in a town highway, road, or street during coin drop. That makes sense if it's that particular road, but there are other roads in Castleton. Like I said, it's Picayune.
I don't understand.
I don't
I don't either.
understand the problem.
I don't either.
I guess
It
we,
says, children under 10 years of age shall not be allowed to be in a town highway, road, or street during the coin drop activities. It's Picayune because there's a lot of streets and a lot of roads. Does that mean all 10-year-olds can't be on any road in Castleton?
Joe?
Well, the larger point that I would want to make, and I appreciate your bringing this up, Mary Lee, is that it does not address state highway. And it's my understanding that, Main Street is a state highway.
But it's a town-maintained portion of State Highway. So the only place that we can hold a coin drop is between, where you see the sign by Sand Hill where it says Town Highway ends.
Yeah.
Just that portion between, across the road from Tags, all the way to the bridge on the far eastern side. That's why we tell people they can only do it in that place.
What I thought.
Because the state wouldn't allow them to do it in any place.
Right.
So,
But that is not a town highway.
But all the addresses say it's Main Street from those areas. Anything that's 4A West or 4A East, that I do not.
yeah, so are you just saying the word town in there is it's not just town, I guess, is.
Yeah, I think, I feel no need to change that if the other members of the select board can live with it.
the only thing I might suggest, and this, to address Mary Lee's concern, is instead of during, we could substitute the word, while conducting coin drop activities.
Well, what she's saying is that any road in town, can a 10-year-old be in any road in town while coin drops are happening? It's kind of like, I get what she's saying is, if the coin drop's happening on Main Street, can the people on Sand Hill Road, 10-year-olds, be in the roads?
Yes.
Yes.
But that's what she's.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So, I don't know how, because this is coin drop policy.
For the purpose of coin drop activities?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
For the purpose.
What do you think of that, Mary Lee?
I think that's better. I mean, the other's Picayune, and probably doesn't make any difference, but it's like they can't go on any other road.
Right. So, I know we have a motion. Do we have a second on this, on your motion,
I
Dick?
don't believe so.
Would someone care to second Dick's motion?
Well, I will second it with the recommendation that we replace the word during with the phrase for the purpose of.
Any problem with that? Any board members have a problem with that?
No.
No?
If I need to amend my motion to include those words, I'm happy to do so.
Not as far as I'm concerned.
What?
But if you're happy with it, the board's happy with it, that's fine.
So if we approve this, we'll have to have another copy printed with the change, and then we can sign it.
Okay,
Blue folder mailbox time.
sounds logical. Mary McIntyre.
So,
That's fine.
Mary McIntyre, I've done a lot of coin drops in this town. 10-year-olds are gonna be allowed to be in the middle of the road?
No,
Shall not be allowed.
not be allowed.
7-year-old will be.
Will not be allowed.
So 11-year-old, so they don't have to be 18 anymore.
Last time, one of the versions said unless they were accompanied by adult.
Yeah, it just frightens me, but
Because we don't want 11-year-olds out in the road by themselves, really. Or,
that's where it's, that just seems,
I guess in the past, Mary's thinking that it's always been no children in the road.
right, it's 18.
One at a time, please. Please be recognized.
I just continue that seems like a terribly young age. You have them in the row.
Well, this does say in paragraph 4C, specifically, children ages 10 to 16 years old may solicit under direct supervision of an adult associated with the group, organization, et cetera. So in other words, what that means to me is that if you have a person under the age of 16 but over the age of 10, they have to be directly supervised. In other words, an adult has to be at their elbow.
Within 3 feet.
Okay?
Thank you.
Is this something then, we want to make the changes and then sign?
Well, there's only one change that we're recommending, and that's those two
Well,
words.
you were talking a few minutes ago about putting it in mailboxes to sign?
Well, if the motion, it's in the motion, right, what you want changed. If you guys sign the back page, is the back page connected to that one? No?
There, yeah.
So we could just change this page and add it with your signature page.
All right, we can do that.
We can do that. Is that okay with you, Joe?
Yeah.
How about Mary Lee and Bob?
Do you want me to come in to sign it?
Okay. All those in favor of the, pardon?
She asked, yes, Mary Lee, if you could do that, that would be awesome.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion with changes indicate by saying aye.
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 There you go, Dick. You ready for the light pole, Mike?
No?
Yep, thanks. Moving on. Light pole for park and ride. Green Mountain Power. I assume GMP is Green Mountain Power. Mike, what's your recommendation?
I asked that the select board approve this so we can move it forward with the encumbrance that was in the resolution from last year for this counts as project. The price, obviously, in my email I sent you, the price went up from the quote we got over a year ago. But this will put lighting at the park and ride at a lower cost, annual cost than those repairing those solar lights. I walked the dog with you guys on that, and every 5 to 7 years we'd incur these costs for the batteries, and if the components within the light themselves, the control units, were to go bad, they're out of warranty, and we have to hire our own electrician to do the work. And we started adding that all up, and it came way over the I forgot off the top of my head, it was like $387 a year it was gonna cost to have both those lights there. And it is, I talked with the gentleman from V-Trans about it, and he was really upset that we were abandoning the solar lights, but I'm like, it's just a matter of cost. And so this would put the pole in the picture, it depicts where it is, behind the monument, about 4 feet behind that, and a guy wire. And we will have lights back down there, and I know the police department will be happy. And I think early on in this conversation that we had, Bob Spalding was concerned about the lack of lighting and the security down there. So this would solve that problem as far as having the lighting.
So how many lights are you proposing? Just the one?
It's one pole with 2 lights on the pole
Okay.
that will be angled out, so it'll,
Illuminate the whole parking lot?
Based on Mike's description, evaluation, is there a motion?
I make a motion, we allow the town manager to proceed with a Green Mountain Power light pole.
Is there a second?
and the cost,
Cost, Bob, $38,0521.
Yes, that's once a year, right? Or is that a monthly?
no, that $3,805.21 is the cost to put the pole and the lights there. After that, the cost was like $387 a year.
Second.
Okay.
Is
That's my motion, please.
there a second?
Second.
Second, discussion. If not, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 You are so authorized, Mike.
Thank you.
Manager's report.
I'm not sure if everybody received a copy to read. But is there any specific questions that I can go through it if you want me to? All the highlighted areas?
Joel has a question.
Did you have a good time?
Doing the mayor's report? I haven't figured that out yet. I'm still digesting that one. It was good to get away
Well, how long do you think it's going to take before you're going to decide?
before the next cruise, before scheduling the next cruise.
Okay.
But yeah, it was great to get away. Saw some great things. Saw the David. I didn't get a picture with it like you recommended.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was a good trip.
Any other questions for Mike?
Why did you send us so many emails while you were on vacation?
I can't help it.
Any questions? Any highlights, Mike? One or two?
Probably the biggest thing was the applications were submitted for both the large scale and small scale bike and pedestrian accessibility scoping study, construction for sidewalks, both for the Route 4A corridor from Sand Hill Road to the Buell Block and from Castleton University at the Jeffords Center to Main Street. So those were submitted on time and received by Peter Pochop. And if everything holds true, and they said last year's ours was the best application out there, and we just went over their spending threshold a little bit, or the allocation threshold, we're below that now, and hopefully that we get this grant.
Okay.
Be nice to just close the loop on that one. We do have the permit in hand, the V-Trans 1111 permit to work within the right-of-way along Route 4A from the corners down to Parsons Hills. I just got to work with Pete Pochop to get that out to bid for this summer.
I was particularly pleased to see that,
Yeah, it's just been
of all the items on this list.
It's been so slow to get the stuff done. I did share with the board that we received the $300,000 for the stormwater mitigation, which included the salt and sand shed on Staso Road, and that we're eligible to apply for the additional $200,000, making a total of $500,000 for that project, which most of it would be eaten up by not just eaten up, we'd still be short a little bit, but for the salt and sand shed on Staso Road. L Street Trestle, that's a nightmare still. Don't even want to go there on that one, right? Haven't gotten any updates from the state on what they're proposing for what type of culvert we can put underneath that trestle and keep the cost contained. I think you're aware that we did not get awarded the Class 2 paving bid this year. We'll continue to move up on the list, but we may qualify next year, or we may get it next year, I don't know. A certified letter was sent to Kluchevsky's regarding the Little Rutland Road and the work the town did in the broken water line. Eitan was texting me quite regularly while I was overseas. And I let him know what was happening, and I haven't heard back from him at this point. The excavator, did they picking it up today or tomorrow, maybe?
I haven't heard if it's done yet, so.
I was told that it was, and we're gonna pick it up either today or tomorrow is what.
We didn't go get it today.
Okay. Well, and I spent most of the day with you. So that's been fixed, and there was a bill for that. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head. To get our own excavator back. We went out today with the two representative paving companies, was Pike Industries and Fuller Stone and Gravel, and looked at all the places for paving so that they can submit their bids. And we have another meeting day open for Wednesday, I believe, in case the people that couldn't make it today, because Wilkes Paving didn't make it today. But Tim Rice called Dave today and let him know. But, so we might get somebody else looking at it. The line striping, so the line striping stuff for this year, but for both the center line, fog lines, stop bars, crosswalks, all that stuff, I actually did the bid packets and sent them out because we don't have all the stencils. The machine that we were gonna borrow from the state, I found out today from Heath that's broken and they're not gonna probably have it repaired till after July 1st, and we're just kicking the can down the road, so I put the bid packets out to see what we get back to do the line striping, both for, again, center lines, fog lines, stop bars, railroad crossings, all that good stuff. So I haven't got them back yet, but I'll bring them before the board when I get them. Barring your questions, that's all I have.
Any questions for Mike? Dick, Joe?
I've asked mine.
Okay. Bob?
I'm good.
Mary Lee?
I'm fine.
Okay. Next item is purchase orders for approval. I don't believe we have any purchase
I didn't
orders.
see any.
No.
Well,
Moving on to warrants for approval.
I'll make a
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve warrant number 0612R for $650 and no cents. Warrant 0519 for $58.50. Warrant 0525 for $5,707.89. Warrant 0601 for $7,018.16. Warrant 0606 for $13,110.06. Warrant 0608 for $11,357.06. Warrant 0612 for $113,151.77. Warrant 0523P for $16,098.86. Warrant 0601P for $19,964.47. And warrant 0608P for $18,576.56.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
A second. Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Motion passes. We have three other,
I'll make a motion that we approve warrant number 0612A for $106.90.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Discussion. Seeing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 I recuse myself.
Joe recused himself. Now we have three others.
I'll make a motion that we approve warrant number 0524P for $612.53. Warrant number 0601P for $612.54. Warrant number 0609P for $612.53.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And a second. Discussion.
I recuse myself.
Recuse yourself. No discussion. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
I'll have,
I think you're
Karen,
gonna need a third person to sign those warrants.
Yeah, there's gonna be,
Yeah, there are a couple, yeah.
well, at
Yeah.
least the ones without Joe's signature and without mine.
I'll have Karen put them in the mailboxes and contact everyone.
Someone, either Mary Lee or Bob's gonna have to come in and sign it.
I can come in.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mary Lee.
How many do we need to?
14. So it's a 5-week month? The way the payrolls run, it's a 5-week month?
I noticed on one of them, there's a penny difference. Did you notice that?
I'm gonna trust the accountant to, I got a feeling that would stand up to an audit, don't you?
Hope so.
Can't believe we're at that time of year again.
$14, right?
Okay.
No, we need 14.
All set?
You have them all.
Select board comments and/or concerns. Mary Lee?
No, I have none.
Okay. You have one, you said?
None.
None, okay. Bob?
Yeah, I got one question.
Okay.
Is our Rutland County Solid Waste District representative aware of or have information on their Rutland County Solid Waste District raising their district surcharge once again recently?
Okay.
I think it was to you, Jim. I think he was asking you a question.
Oh, what are you asking me?
Just what I read. I'll read it again. You're a Rutland County Solid Waste District representative. Are you aware of or have any information on the Rutland County Solid Waste District raising their district surcharge once again recently?
Not that I'm aware of.
I was,
Mike, are you aware of it?
Mr. Chairman, I am aware that they raised it, it wasn't, when I say recently, it was, God, it was beginning of the year, maybe? To, we went from
Do you know
1997 to 20, it went over $20, I know that.
That was a year ago, Mike. They just recently raised it to 21 something, is what I was told. I was just wondering if I could get any information on that, if Jim can find out for us by the next meeting.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you, Jim.
Okay. Dick,
I'm good.
you good? Joe, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. We need an executive session, Mike?
I'd like to go have an executive session of the select board and with Mike, the town manager.
For what, Mary, which one are we going
Oh,
on?
I'm sorry, for real estate.
Real estate.
Real estate? Okay. Anything else on executive sessions? If not, is there a motion to go into executive session for real estate with the town manager?
With the town manager and the board at 8:16. So moved.
So
Second.
moved. In the second?
Second?
Second. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Aye.